Good morning. It's raining, finally. We are finally getting a little bit of rain. Not much. I think we've gotten 0.13, so 13/100ths of an inch so far. And we're not going to get much, but I want to go out and take a rain walk and enjoy it. And so I thought this week I would take you along on my morning rainy yard walk. Here we are in the kitchen garden. It doesn't look like much right now, but we are having, we have these robins that are coming and eating all the berries off of this English ivy, which is really fun to see them this time of year. And then this winter, I got these two arbors set up to grow things over, and already I have a what is it, Claire Austin climbing rose. It'll start on that one, and then I'm gonna plant some sort of climbing food. So only thing in the beds right now are onions and garlic. And then over here, this is my saffron crocus. They're doing well. And then some more broccoli and what do you want to call it? I keep forgetting. Brussels sprouts. So those are all doing really well. These are starting to bolt. I better pick these for dinner tonight. or else they're gonna flower. Yep, one's already starting to flower. That's a problem. And soon, I mean, these compost bins are completely full, the ones we have here. So those will soon be setting up new compost back where I have just set up my hoop house my husband got me for Christmas. It's a small hoop house, and we'll move the compost back there and out of this area, and then eventually I want to be able to get to the driveway from here rather than having to go past our trash cans. But as you can see, not much in the beds. There's a Romanesco broccoli that bunnies have eaten most of the leaves of, and it seems to be attracting aphids, so I'm leaving it. And then the garlic and onions, and then there's one fava bean right there that I leave again for aphid hosting. But I had broccoli in here last season and the bunnies just ate it all. And I had corn over here and the rats ate all the corn. So that's why I want to move my compost away from my food growing area here, because I think I can grow corn if there aren't rats being attracted to the compost. So this is the state of the kitchen garden. I gotta pull this. That looks terrible. I have to finish cutting back the grape on the fence. But there's one bud on the Claire Austin rose here, and these lavenders are doing well. And I see some of our spring bulbs starting to come up right there. So, here we go. There's a bud on our Claire Austin climber. I do need to come and prune my roses, do my January prune on them, and train this one maybe up this arbor and feed them all. But this area is looking pretty blank right now. I watched a video of it 6 months ago, and it was sure different. The fence is completely covered in grapevines, and this Mexican sage is bright purple over there, and it looks kind of sad now. But it's fun to see that, the onions are doing well and the garlic is doing well. So things I can grow in the winter. Here are the robins. They don't mind the rain. There's one right. Oops. You can see. Come in huge groups of them. I love this ivy. If you want robins to come, plant English ivy, but beware. They spread it everywhere. Everywhere. This stuff is invasive. At least in our area. Walked right past this, but this is a cymbidium. These were my grandmother's cymbidiums, and we have been dividing them through the family and, sharing them. And there's green, yellow, and white. I believe, and I only got one bloom last year. But this year I see stalks on 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5. I don't see one on these 2. But so 5 bloom stalks this year, which is very exciting. Take a look at it this way. Oh, we do have one anemone that's blooming. It's kind of beaten down right now. But along this side, I have some of these anemones. And I see some gladiolus foliage starting to come up. And some daffodil foliage. So this way, it's looking more gladiolas. If I remember correctly, the white ones came up earliest. Here's our catmint, calendula. One cute little daffodil blooming here. And a rose I need to cut back. So I've decided to, instead of having this peppermint pelargonium, which now I've pulled, growing in large clumps along the side of the fence here, because it really takes over. I've ordered a bunch more climbing roses. So I have one Claire Austin way down at that end. And I think I have 5 or 6 other ones that I'm gonna put along here. Our neighbors cut back the ivy on their side, the hedge on their side, and there's a dead spot, but it'll be gone soon. Walk this way a bit. I do see daffodil foliage coming up. Lots of daffodil foliage. It's kind of hard to see. Mostly what I see this time of year when I walk around are things I need to cut back, like the lemon verbena here I gotta cut back, and I've got to cut it back on this side as well. But this was sure a great thing to plant on an arbor. This is potato vine, and I know I talk about it all the time, but I wasn't going to plant it. I was just going to plant roses, and my mom said, you know, roses, which this is the rose. It's a yellow rose with small flowers, and you can see it's all budded up here. The roses, you know, they don't look like much most of the year. Sometimes they, you know, lose their leaves, so they're deciduous. And this potato vine, even though it's not in bloom, will be green and beautiful. And it's a little more aggressive than I'd like, but I just need to take after it. And what's great is I use those pieces I cut off in flower arrangements, and it's such a great flower arrangement plant. It stays green the whole time. And if you get it when it's just the buds, they'll bloom while it's in the arrangement, while it's in the vase. So that's wonderful. And I see more daffodil greenery and some columbine greenery happening over here. And I just noticed a ranunculus starting as well. So very exciting. It's starting. It begins, even though it doesn't look like much right now. Coming through into my office garden, my bag of soil is still there. Look at this rose. I can't remember the name of it, but it is a David Austin rose. And I have yet to cut them back, but they keep trying. They're still pushing new growth, and it's a shrub rose, and it goes from here all the way over to there. So that's my next job, cutting back the roses and feeding them. And this whole area needs to be, all the perennials need to be cut back. That's what I see here. But this is lion's tail sage, which is mostly bloomed out, but it has interesting seed pods. If you get them when they're dry, you can use them in a flower arrangement. The straw flower has just been going and going and going. I don't know. I'm hoping that this hydrangea comes back. I just see things I gotta cut back. Lemon balm, need to cut that back. Random grass in the middle of everything. You know, those kinds of things. It's kind of stopped raining now. I do have a climbing rose back here. I guess I will uncover it once I can cut back this citronella. I see the climbing rose back in there. It's trying. And snapdragons are happy. It's funny what's happy this time of year. Stock, snapdragons, and strawflower are still happy this time of year. Okie dokie. Heading this way. I just love this plant. This is a cousin-it plant. And this is a lobelia, and it's looking frost, like it's gotten some frostbite. So this one I'm going to cut down pretty small to like 1/10 its size. There's one plant underneath that giant mass. It's unbelievable. It just keeps growing and growing and growing and flowering and growing. And I have a giant radish weed there, and this geranium I'm gonna cut way back as well. But it's fun. I can see these little lilies of some sort coming up. What?
Look at the size of that radish.
I know. My mom's with me now. This is a radish. Gigantic. It's the size of
leaves.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
We'll get it out of there eventually. Don't do it. It's hard to keep her from
Somebody
waiting.
needs to do it.
Somebody will. This is Jacob's next area. Somebody that comes and helps me. And this is night blooming jasmine, and it gets frostbitten, and I have to cut it back every year. It wasn't, I really kind of thought it would be a better hedge in this area and that we'd get to enjoy it more, but by the time it blooms, it's cold and we don't go outside anymore, and then it gets frostbitten. All this kind of blue-green is the native coastal poppy. And again, an area that needs to be weeded, as usual. But we're about to come into the area that has been weeded. See, here's another lobelia plant. This is the size that this giant one should be. That one should be about this big. I mean, you can let it get, 5 feet, but this one's like 10 foot wide by 12 feet tall thing. It's tall, it's big. Another cousin-it. And coming out here into the area that has just finally been weeded. This is where all my zinnias were. This was my Zenia Field. This I think is a Windermere rose. I need to cut that one back soon. And then we have our guava trees and pomegranate tree. And then this one, my mom just brought this up. This is the Bauhinia unionensis. Unionensis. Bauhinia unionensis. And it just has these really cool leaves that are kind of like little butterfly wings that goes up and open up, I guess.
It's in the pea family.
It's in the pea family, and it has a really pretty flower. I'll put a picture of the flower on the screen. So we planted one here on this arbor that my husband, who's walking this way, helped me build. And so that'll cover that up. I might do a climbing rose on the other side or something, but be very, very cool. And then this is the Lady Gardener rose that just keeps going and going and going. This will all be zinnias soon. And then zinnias back there, zinnias all around there. But I'm gonna cut that one back, way back. But that's a great flower. That's a great rose from David Austin. This is the Lady Gardener rose, and I've been very thrilled with it. Here, I'm going to put, I plan to plant something in here. This is the, which one is this one, Mama?
Santa Cruz Island Ironwood.
Santa Cruz Ironwood. Santa Cruz Island Ironwood, and it has these really pretty red bark. I love the kind of ferny leaf. And this is a stone pine Christmas tree from last year. This is a stone pine that was here when we arrived. And looks horrible back there, but I can kind of see, I'll get over there. This whole area, we just got it weeded. And now I can see the plants that I have and not all the weeds. And I'm gonna do more, I guess we gotta get this side too. I wanna do more zinnias here and a bunch more zinnias through this area. Or dahlias, I don't know, we'll see. But It's neat to uncover things I completely forgot I had this. So pretty. This one's a grevillea. That one's a leucospermum. Leucospermum? What? And our aloes and our giant foxtail agave here, blooming. Isn't that cool? So cool. I've never been this close to one that's blooming. They're always up on the hills when you're hiking very far away. So it's really cool.
I got something for your video. Check this out. Yeah, you can put it on video and then cut it out. Look at this. You could show this over here. The sink that we intend to use. No, the reason is because there's an animal living under it. You can see how warm and cozy it looks.
Another spermum. This is a, oh my gosh, oak leaf hydrangea. Aren't those leaves gorgeous? This really red color in the fall and winter. Okay, we have this sink that was in the kitchen when we moved in. And look, there's a little animal of some sort living under there. There's a tunnel that goes underneath it. I have it out here to be used when I put a, when we add a sink to this area.
I'm going to tell you the botanical name of the Santa Cruz Island ironwood.
Okay.
Okay, it's Lionothamnus floribundus, subspecies asplenifolia.
Fabulous.
And it's a native California tree, native to Santa Cruz Island. And there's also a Catalina Island version. It's Lionothamnus floribundus, subspecies floribundus. It has a very different type of leaf.
Coming this way, this all got weeded and it looks so great. And I've started to move pots out here. This is an apple. That's a loquat. Looks very happy. Happy loquat tree. You see some buds forming on it. And then the pièce de résistance. Ooh, what?
I'm checking the flood, seeing if it's flooded. What happened? See, it did get wet on the table in there.
Huh, how do we get wet on the table? It blew in. Well, because this was open.
No.
All right, this is the hoop house. Not a hoop house, the kingbird. It might be just condensation dripping.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's just condensation. Yeah, condensation dripping here. So,
There's some flooding there on that side.
yeah, a little bit of water in the back there.
Fix that.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm filming this. Anyway.
People want to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't
This
plant.
is like an inexpensive hoop house that we got on Amazon.
Yep.
Kingbird is the company. It was under $200, but look what you get. I'm 6'4". Let's see if I hit the thing. No, I do not hit these knobs when I'm 6'4". Okay. I'm still an inch or so.
There's condensation happening.
Let's call me 6'2", because my wife says I'm only 6'2". I used to be 6'4".
So the little condensation, this tabletop isn't really a tabletop. It's part of the shipping container from our bathroom vanity that we just replaced. We're going to repurpose it as a tabletop, but I'm going to lacquer the top of it. But yeah, condensation, which you want in a greenhouse, actually. But I guess we didn't get it quite level because there's some water back there. But, you know. Anyway, I'm very excited about this. This looks terrible, but we're going to bring all our cardboard that we saved back and pile it here. And then I need to get somewhere for the compost bins. So, I put these pots here just temporarily so people don't run into the tie downs, but I probably will end up putting something there, some sort of a fruit tree on both sides there. And this corner looks terrible. It really looks terrible, but we had a dingo, it's called. It's like a little ride-on thing, little ride-on machine, and kind of turned and moved our green waste and a piece of plywood that's breaking up which wood will eventually decompose back into the soil. So we're continuing to turn these things, and I'm going to come in with some more, another stone pine here, a incense cedar here, which will grow very tall, another stone pine here, and then the hedge. I'm starting to gather toyon, which this is toyon over here. It blooms, it has red berries. This one is fairly young and I don't see any red berries on it, but this is a toyon. So I got some more toyon. I have 3 more toyons, and I want to get more Catalina cherry. This is Catalina cherry, and some maybe ceanothus. And then this area we have a path going this way and up and around the tree there. But this is our current green waste pile. We need to move it a little bit away from the roots of the tree for now. But we just kind of turn it and turn it. But this is our new little, it's not called a hoop. Yeah, it is a hoop house. So it's little, but it's wonderful. It's 16 feet long by 6.5 feet wide by 6.5 feet tall. And we're just working on tables, and then I can start bringing my seedlings that are ready to be for the next step. Bring it here. Mom, weed it. You can't possibly weed it all. It's not possible. And I know it's going to continue to be a years-long battle to get rid of all the weeds. Okay, so I'm backing up a little bit here. This is the back area where I'm going to do rows of flowers this year. Cut flower garden, 4 40-foot rows about. This warehouse is 60 feet long, so I come about 2/3 of the way with the flowers. And again, this is an area we flattened with that dingo thing. It's not super flat. I can see a load spot on this side. So, but we do want it to kind of slope gently away from the building so that water doesn't go to the building. And this is the hedge that I'm not sure I want to do any more of these California wax myrtles. I like the ceanothus. And that's a lemonade berry. But I want to continue the hedge so that we do not, we don't need to look at our neighbor's warehouse. But I want the hedge to continue down that way, along that way, and then plant some prettier trees and stuff on the berm. But aren't these beautiful? So ceanothus, so pretty. Anyway, this will be the cut flower garden to about here. So we got to fill that hole in. We can tell it's rained a little bit now. Only 2 of the little ones you brought survived.
Catalina currant?
A currant and a ceanothus right there.
Oh.
The rest of them were no longer. So this is a Catalina cherry, or holly leaf cherry, and they grow 30 feet tall. So we're gonna keep it, in check a little bit. But I love it because I know it's wet right now, but even when it's not wet, the leaves are kind of a glossy green. They're really shiny, and it's a fast-growing hedge in California. So it'll soon be as tall as that one. And that one, and so there's 5 of them right here, and there's a few more on the other side.
Very fine.
Decomposed rhyolite is what our soil is. We were just talking about it because I just walked over there.
Your volcanic cones are rhyolite, which is a light-colored igneous rock, and I think what you have is decomposed rhyolite.
Interesting. That's a different theory. The other hypothesis or other theory, I don't know how to use it in that
Was that the oil of the eucalyptus was making it
eucalyptus
waterproof?
tree is infused. So maybe.
So if you walk on it, even though it's rained,
Yeah, that would be a lot.
you leave these footprints and it just gets totally stuck to the bottom of
And
your
I think
shoes.
it's so fine that it doesn't. It's so fine. It's not like sand. It's finer than sand. Maybe it's not
That's a superior theory.
fine as silk.
So it's
in
created
between
like
there.
a little water lock. That's why I have such trouble getting it out of the pool too, because it's so fine. You can't. But you go to vacuum it, and it just goes poof.
That explains that also.
Yep. Yep.
There you go.
These are. My husband just put these little funny steps in here for me to go up here, because we had a big pine tree and some acacia here. That we got rid of the acacia because it's really invasive and it just grows and then it's kind of weak, so that it falls, like the branch is lower, and see the fence right there is all bent. So more Catalina cherry and more ceanothus we have put here along the side, and I will come in right about here probably with another stone pine. And this area has yet to be developed, but I'm imagining this area more as a native. So I have the black sage, white sage. I want to get some California sagebrush, and fill this area in here with that kind of thing. Right now it's our, storage of building supplies. So this is the blue garden area. I see some of the things that I started coming up here. Seedlings, and our larkspur's still going.
Oh, the machine. Oh.
So this area will be developed and developing. And up here in the blue garden, I call it the blue garden, but it's blue and purple. The Love in a Mist is doing well. And I'm starting to see the beginnings of hyacinths. There's a bunch more popping up.
There's some great hyacinths coming.
Yep, grape hyacinths over here, Muscari. I planted a bunch and hope they will continue to multiply in this area. And this is our cool other staircase going down from this level to toward the sport court. This is the decaying blue anemone coming up. And
What is this thing?
that's a flax lily.
Flax lily, okay.
Yep. And then in this area we have some of our whiter daffodils coming up. These, they come out yellow. They're I think they're called ice follies daffodil, and then they there's a green waste pile right there. They fade to white, the center cone. But look at this. What do we have here? We have buds. This is a peach. This one is an apricot of some sort, or I don't know what, but I just got done cutting the trees back because they were far too tall and wild. And then, this is the other place we planted the Bauhinia unensis. So it'll grow on this arbor, and I'm gonna have to put some extra strings. This side is blackberry, and it's a native blackberry, and it's very thorny. And it was kind of sprawling over the ground, so I thought, let's put an arbor here and get it up over the tunnel.
We're already getting poked in our hands. Let's get poked on our sides, and then
Make it really hard to walk through the garden. Just kind of like the tearing tunnel. But the other day I saw blackberries, and so have yet to come deal with this. But roses are my next challenge. Roses everywhere. This month. I've got to get it handled this month. And then this is the upper veggie bed, which really, I just need to retool the whole thing. I'm gonna put a new timer for the water over there because it just wasn't getting enough water. And I just ordered a water system for the green stock and need to cut back all the things. But what I wanted to talk about here was this. This is a thornless blackberry, and it is, we're getting, look, a bird got that one, but we're getting blackberries in the end of January. So very cool. It's very vigorous. It's growing well. This is 5 plants on a 40-foot run here, and it's covering it. So stock's one of the flowers that does well, at least in zone 10A in the winter. And look at all our daffodil greenery starting to come up here. Daffodils and tulips that I planted. So very excited for this spring. Snapdragons are holding their own in the winter. And these are anemone. It's not open, but you can see another one there. There was another one over here somewhere the other day. Where'd it go? Huh, maybe that was the one I saw. Anemone. Anemone, and then this is all daffodil coming up. In our woodland area here, this is a pink flowering currant, which has just started to leaf out. First it blooms and then the leaves come. And look how beautiful these hellebores are. I like this one, it's so pretty. And the this is a hydrangea. So things are looking pretty good. All the trees are lowered and trimmed and fed, and then we got a rain, so that just got all the food into them. So that's good. It's our little mini volleyball courts covered in weeds. Oh well. Avocado tree is doing well. Hopefully we'll get an avocado this year. We had one last year. Looking this way, my stuff from working on this area. I just ran this water line and planted ferns and hostas. And the little deer is falling over. I fed up the little baby one. Yeah. So this is a geranium madarins, M-A-D, madarins, and it sends up that big flower stalk that's just this ball of purple flowers. I'll find a photo of it and put it on the screen. And it seeds itself around, but it's a biennial, so it takes 2 years to flower. So this one might flower this year because the leaves were here last year. These are impatiens, also called poor man's rhododendron because I don't know why. But it's happy here, whereas rhododendrons don't seem to do well here. So, and this is where we cut down a eucalyptus tree, and they didn't get all the stump, but I use this greenery for flower arrangements. Oh no, there's a cucumber, wild cucumber. It's not edible. It's called man root, and I have a root that's, like the size of a baby seal. It sends these giant tendrils up. Gotta get rid of that. More work to do. Work everywhere I look, work to do. Like this area where the path goes into this corner. That's a mosquito bucket. I like the ferns in this area. Looking back this way. All the ferns. This is a hebe, it's called. And I need to trim it back down into a little ball. But this is it always captures my imagination, this part of the walk, because it's kind of like a tree tunnel. Just looking back this way at the orchard, look how many flowers we're going to get on the avocado. Hopefully we'll get one. We had one tiny, I still see where it was, tiny avocado there, and I think a squirrel got it. We have to produce enough food that the animals leave us some. And I'm hoping to soon get fruit off of this. This is a feijoa, or pineapple guava. I like kind of the blue-green of the leaves, and I've made an entire hedge of it around the court here. And I hope to get some food off it soon. Artichokes are doing well. I'll get some artichokes this year. And this is a lilac. It's all budded up. Here's our blueberries. It's the blueberry patch my mom's weeding. And then tons, this is the citrus orchard area. And we have all kinds of different rosemaries here. This is the one we usually use to cook with. It has a dark blue flower. And then we have this one that has a purple flower. And looks kind of drier and more sparse, but it's maybe just an older plant, so I keep cutting it back in hopes it'll really fill back in. And I see the greenery of our iris coming up. So cool. Oops. I'll go this way. More artichokes. More artichokes. I use artichokes as we eat them, but I also use them as a blue plant accent. The blue-green. This is the other kind of rosemary that we have. It's a light blue flower. It's starting to look, the new growth looks more edible than the old growth. But things are, you know, coming along. Lots of bulbs coming up, I see, which is exciting. Because I planted a lot of bulbs, so it's nice to see. I saw some in here yesterday. I did. I saw them. Anyway, I saw some in here. And I've gone and now fed all the fruit trees. This area, here's a hydrangea. Another hydrangea here. This is a panicle hydrangea covered in chickweed. And this is more of the shady hydrangea. Some meadow sage here. Mosquito bucket. And we cut this back because it was coming way out into the path on both sides. So cut that back. Let's go take a look at our street frontage. Here we have our patch of Matilla poppies, and they're starting to sprout and come out, which is fun. And I also have some Gara here that'll come back, and the scabiosa. And this is a rock rose, white one. It's grown quite large. And under here, we're just starting to see the daffodils come up. This tree has finally turned its fall color. Took a long time. Really pretty when it does turn. These are a ranga lily. Cut them back this year and they're coming into their own. I have a pink heather there. Some tea. This was here when we got here, and you can see the deer come by and eat it every day. There's the deer hoof prints. But they're not getting into the yard because my deer fence, not having it. Indian hawthorn, I want to say, has a pink flower, but where the deer can't reach it, it's much taller and it's kind of pruned where the deer can reach it. But little narcissus or daffodils coming up here. And this area I worked on this year. I already had a manzanita here, which the new growth comes out red. It's really pretty. And here's the flower on it. I can't wait for it to be big and beautiful. But added these succulents this year to this area, and the euphorbia. And it's doing well, holding up to frost. Anyway, neighbors came and put these little bunnies in here. It's kind of cute, like they're eating the plants. But that'll be cool once that fills in more. I'll put some more agaves over here. Maybe another manzanita. I do have some hedge planted back here. Why can't I? Coffee berry. I have 3 coffee berries and they've done nothing in 5 years. This is what they've done in 5 years. Nothing. Barely any growth. So I need to put something else here that'll help us screen us from the street. That's a pittosporum. There's an oak here. This whole area needs a little bit more plants. There's one Matilla hot poppy back here, which, as we know, will soon be 100. That'd be cool. Maybe I do more Matillas over here. Matillaha and manzanita. I do have a manzanita ground cover here, and it looks like some of the scabiosa are coming up, and we always get volunteer oak trees. Here's one, there's another one, and looks like we're also getting some volunteer cotoneaster maybe here. Plant things and then things volunteer. That's my one hollyhock. Little hollyhock area that actually ever flowers. Oh, another oak. That's a nice big one. Cool. Not sure this tree is going to last much longer because it has a giant split in it. I'm happy to see something else taking its place. That's how nature works. And we are back around. This, I can see that hellebore starting to have some flowers in the center there. And I just planted all these hellebores along here and cleaned this bed out. And we have some narcissus coming up and the hellebores, and so that's looking so much better than it did a week ago. That brings us back around. It's not raining anymore, so we're gonna get one of the kids to help us go plant some plants and get some of these things that are sitting on my front porch into the ground, because they'll be much happier there than they are on my porch. And so that's exciting for me when I can rope a kid into helping me, because planting plants is, my arms aren't working that great right now because I've been using them to walk for so long that I really do need help with things. And so learning to ask for help, that's been hard. And but I'm learning, getting better at it. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed a little rain walk in the garden this morning, and I will catch up with you next time. Bye-bye.